Ladies and gentlemen,
Jesus.
welcome back. This is the right episode 50 motherfucking 6. You know where we're at. We're back at it again. White vans.
They're black.
Letting you know.
They are, and they're not vans. They are black socks.
They're black socks. Nice.
Episode 56. Here we are.
Episode 56, bro.
My lucky number.
That's it, your lucky number. We made it. We made it to your lucky one.
Do you know why it's my lucky number?
No, I don't.
56 miles per hour is the fastest that a heavy, that a lorry, a HGV vehicle can go in this country.
Really? Why is that? Why does that make it then your lucky number?
So my dad used to take me, my dad's a lorry driver, and he used to take me in his lorry all around Europe. So I spent a lot of my childhood looking at the back of other lorries that says, this vehicle is limited to 56 miles per hour. So I used to spend my summer holidays looking at the number 56 a lot. And then, you know when you're at school and you just write stuff on the desk, just because you're all bored, I just put 56 everywhere. Just kind of stuck with me, you know.
But usually when it's a lucky number, it's because something happened 56 times, or like you played the lottery 56 all the way.
Well, it's more like, okay, if I'll...
Because like, that wouldn't be a lucky number. That's just be
I'll peel.
a number.
I'll peel another layer back. 56 to me represents... In those times when I got to go with my dad in his lorry,
yeah,
it was pre-iPhone, pre-iPod.
Yeah.
So I'd take a rucksack with me full of books and DVDs because we did.
56 of
Because we did have a portable DVD player, and I just spend all my time reading and watching films, which is why we're probably doing this podcast. So 56 reminds me, I'm very grateful to my father for giving me that opportunity. I believe that's why, like, I don't know if there's many 11-year-olds that get to read a whole Harry Potter book in a day. You know, I was doing that. So, and now you know that, like, I have a crazy appetite for, like, information.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it comes from. Having all that time to like consume all that stuff, and I've just carried it on, and it's the thread, it's that same energy that leads me to do the creative stuff that I do today, and therefore 56 is like a symbolic representation of that opportunity my father gave me. So that's why it's a lucky number.
Right, okay.
We are here because of 56. We are sat here right now because of 56.
No, we're sat right here because of your dad. Like,
yeah, but that number represents
what, your dad?
It's a code. Yeah, yeah. Well, basically,
because like, I get it. I'm not gonna try to like throw that. Be like, oh no, you shouldn't be. It shouldn't be 56. It should be your dad's birthday because it was your dad who did that. I'm not gonna go into that, but I can understand why now it's 56.
Well, it's
to me, it would definitely be more of the experience going through that. I wouldn't necessarily choose a number, but I'm glad that you were able to take something from that age or that era. And we're like, I'm gonna use. This is gonna be what makes me lucky. Not what makes me lucky, but if I see something that says 56, you know that you'll be like,
I give it a little.
I gotta give that shit a go.
I give it a little wink for sure. There was definitely a period.
I know that now as well.
There was definitely a period of time when I didn't necessarily see it as a lucky number. It was just on my brain all the time because I saw it a lot.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And then I started writing it on desks, and then by the time I was like 17, 18, I was just like, yeah, 56. That's my fucking shit. Like, I've been thinking about it for like a decade now. So it's like second nature to me. That I just resonate highly with the number 56. And I feel like this episode's going to be an especially good one because of that,
Yeah, fair enough. Mine is 10.
10?
10.
Why?
Because it was the day I was born. And now you got to be pretty lucky to be born. At all. You know what I mean?
That's very true.
It's a 1 in a billion.
And I'm on the 10th as well.
So, exactly.
It's good.
That's why, to me, that's why I chose as my lucky number. I do see a lot of like, if I do see anything that with 10, I'm like, I give it a go. If I need to play the lotto or whatever, I also play 10, just because.
Yeah, you can't play 56 on the lottery.
No.
Which is annoying. But I don't play the lottery anyway.
It only goes up to 55.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That is interesting.
So you one number up.
Although technically, because you can play 0, can't you?
Yes.
So there are 56 numbers.
There are 50.
Woo!
0 is not a number.
It is if you can play it.
It's not a number.
No, but right. In the mathematical world, 0 isn't a number. Is not a number.
No.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
But in the game of the lottery, you can play the number 0, yeah?
Yeah.
So therefore, in the machine, there are 56 balls. There's 2 separate points there. One of them is yours. This one is mine. They can exist together.
They can. They can. I 100% get what you mean. But that doesn't still make it a number just because
in the mathematical world, no, not at all. But in the context of the lottery...
In the context of balls, yes, that's 56 balls.
Yeah.
It's not 56 numbers, though.
The number 56 is a number that denotes how if there are 56 balls, then there are 56 balls. Just imagine those balls all of a sudden didn't have numbers on, and there were just 56 balls on the floor. That's just 56 balls. If you put numbers 1 to 55 and then the non-number that we all know is not a number, 0, there's still 56 balls, but in human semantics and how we discuss mathematics philosophically,
right,
0 doesn't count as a number. I understand that.
You just made...
But there's still 56 balls.
Yeah, you're talking about balls, not numbers, is what I'm trying to say. You're like, it's still there. Okay, great. There's still... You could say that there's 0 to 100 letters, but there's only...
What is about to happen?
I don't know. I was about to sneeze.
Okay.
But then it was going to turn into a cough.
I was like, this is it. It's the 56th episode and Martin is going to die on mic.
and then it becomes your unlucky number.
That whole conversation, and then you just die.
I don't know where I was going with that point, to be honest. It was more the fact that, like, you can say there's 56 of anything, right? And then go,
damn well
okay, number it. You can number it 1 to. If you number something 1 to 55, there's only going to be 55, right? So there's going to be 55 balls.
1 to 55, yep.
Right. If you then add a 0, right, regardless of whether it's a number or a ball, right, that's just a physical object, right?
No, numbers are philosophical.
Yeah, but as in the object, the ball itself, it's physical.
Yeah.
Right? That, if you're talking philosophically...
I wasn't. I was talking about balls. You were talking philosophically about numbers.
Because you went, there's still 56 numbers. There isn't.
No, there's 56 balls.
Okay, and and I agree with you on that. There's 56 balls. And we can end it there.
I said at the beginning, I agree. If you go back and listen, I said I agree with your original statement that 0 represents nothing, therefore it can't be counted. I understand that wholly.
Wholly, okay.
It's like fucking before the universe there was nothing. That's nothing. And that's what 0 represents. But then in order to talk about zero, we must net label it and talk about it. Like, nothing is nothing, but we still talk about nothing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that to me kind of like weirded me out when I found out about zero. Just because I was like, there was a video that I saw about what was his fucking name? It's some
Pythagoras?
no one mathematical genius. What was his name? It began with A. Oh, this is gonna kill me. Like in ancient times, it wasn't like somebody new.
Pythagoras is pretty well known as the inventor of modern mathematics.
But he didn't. This philosopher didn't create or like was the starter of mathematics. He was just.
You said it began with A.
Yeah.
I have no. Just when you said A, it made me think of the ancient thing that they used to count, which is called the abacus.
Abacus, yeah.
And I'm thinking, was that named after someone that you're talking about?
It's not abacus. It's somebody else. Anyway, they said that like nothing can never be. Nothing that you talk about can ever be nothing if you talk about it.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That summarizes it exactly.
That's why I'm like weirded out with that, because I'm like, then nothing is something.
Ah.
So why is it not a number if it still is nothing? Because we're talking about nothing.
This is actually, this is like the foundation, like of talking about like the Big Bang. That's why it confuses scientists so much, because obviously the hypothesis is that something exploded out of nothing.
Yeah.
But then you get into the conversation of what is nothing, and they all disagree on what that is, and no one can define what nothing is, because by definition, nothing is nothing. So it becomes awfully complicated.
The word just then becomes like...
meaningless.
Yeah, if nothing... Nothing is
doesn't
nothing.
exist.
Who made the word?
Nothing is nothing.
Who made that word?
It is something.
Yeah. Like you can't talk like
I mean, there's also the idea that there's also the idea that like none of the other numbers exist and only one exists,
which is zero.
Well, more because all the other numbers are just one and one and one and one. Like 100 is just 100 ones. Yeah. So there's no point in 100 really. One is the only meaningful number. Is
right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That puts me into like thinking of like that Rick and Morty episode when they Rick fucks up the whole galaxy by turning a 1 to a 0.
To a 0, yeah. Oh, that's to do with the currency.
Yeah, the currency, yeah. Because it's like everything is done by
binary code.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's how like computers work. Mm-hmm. And that, I guess, binary reaffirms what I just said in that 1 is the only meaningful number. Mm-hmm. Because the computer, it's fucking bonkers. I have a very rudimentary understanding of binary code, but 0 means nothing, obviously, and 1 tells the computer. So it's like yes,
an action.
It kind of acts as yes and no.
Yes and no, yeah,
sort of thing. But then
yin and yang, mate.
Exactly. Like the earliest computer, I can't remember where I read this, but some of the earliest computers were put into really simple things. So like a sliding door. Mm-hmm. The only 2 commands that door has to think about is open and close. So that's like 0. You can imagine how that's programmed.
Yeah.
If
0 is closed.
If there is a person, 0. If there isn't a person, 1. That's the basic kind of inner workings of how a computer works. And then a thing like a MacBook or something like that, there's like tens of thousands of those possibilities that involve 0 and 1s.
0 and 1s, yeah.
Which is just...
it's crazy!
Bonkers.
Fucking crazy.
You just mentioned Rick and Morty. Have you watched it?
Not the new one, no.
See, neither did I. When they changed voice actors, it was just a lot of controversy.
Yeah.
And
have you seen it?
well,
since? Okay.
I didn't watch it because you know that if there's like a lot of noise around something new, I'm gonna not pay attention to that and wait for that noise to die down. So then I can get a better view of what it actually is.
Yeah.
Because
then everything's done by then. You're like, all the information is there. All you need to do is fucking
like sometimes Netflix shows come out and stuff like that, and there's so much hype.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, "Oh, have you seen the new show? It's so good." And then like 6 months go by and like no one remembers it, and I'm like, I'm glad I didn't waste my time on that.
Yeah.
But with Rick and Morty, it was getting ridiculous. I mean, even before the Justin Roiland thing, like the fandom, season 4, I thought was crazy in the way that they had to keep making episodes that like addressed the fan base to give them, the fan base want all these things like Evil Morty, Prime Rick, and the show creators obviously like, oh, I can understand it as a creator. You don't want to like give the fans exactly what they want. You want to give them what you want to make.
Yeah.
So it must be really annoying to have like your entire fan base like, we want Evil Morty, like just constantly like not happy with what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why like that episode on the train exists. All those like people that have heard about Rick Sanchez on that train.
Yeah.
And then Rick and Morty like burst in and it's all very meta and fourth wall. It's smart storytelling, but at the same time it was getting like, I was like, what even is this show anymore?
Yeah.
Like it used to just be like fun sci-fi adventures, but now we're wrapped up in this meta storyline thing and it's crazy. So I've just ignored it basically for a long time. And the other day I had an urge. I was just like, I want to watch some Rick and Morty, but I don't want to dick around. I'm not going to watch all the seasons. I've missed 2 seasons at this point, and I just want...
Well, so you've not seen 5 or 6?
Yeah, 5 and 6 I've not seen yet. I
think I've seen 5.
If I did see 5, I didn't remember anything about it.
Have you watched 5 now?
I can't remember. If I possibly did.
No, I mean like, now that we're talking about it now.
So what happened is I went to IMDb and I just sorted all the episodes by the highest rated episode in the new season. And I was like, just give me the best episode of the new season. Which one was received the best by the fans? I want to see that one.
Okay.
And I went to the Reddit and just had a look at post-season discussion just to see which ones people were like, oh, this was like an incredible episode.
Yeah.
And there were 2. And one of them was the last episode, the newest one to have come out.
Obviously, you're not gonna. If you watch that, then you might as well watch the whole thing.
Well, I watched it, and it was really good. It was really, really, really good. I didn't notice the voice actors had changed at all.
Really?
Number one.
Okay, that's why I was literally about to ask you that thing. I was like, how do you think it's changed?
No, didn't. Not to any noticeable degree where I was like, ooh, that didn't sound like Rick, and that's ruining
the immersion
for me. But no, the concept of what that last episode is about is
bonkers. I need to watch it. Fuck.
I've
not seen season 6.
The episode's it's about a hole.
Don't just leave it. It's fine. Don't tell me I don't even want to hear fucking Rick and Morty in the episode. Just let it happen. I'll watch it naturally. But I just wanted to know if like the voice acting, because I watched the video of the person who actually does the voices, and that the way that he just like goes from
the old actor, Justin,
yeah, the way that he goes from like being his normal voice to Morty to then going back to his normal voice to then Rick. I was like,
it's crazy.
This guy is fucking crazy.
Well,
and then he gets. I didn't read too much into it, but maybe you did. What's the story behind him? What was going through the fucking...
I don't know 100%, but I do know a little bit. I'm trying to work out, as I do with any music or TV, who brings what to the table with Rick and Morty. And I think I've kind of worked it out. Justin Roiland, you know, like interdimensional cable?
Yeah.
You know, though, like... even like Rick and Morty say it in the
Eye
episode.
holes. Want to get some eye holes?
Morty says in that episode, he says, "Oh, it seems like TV in the interdimensional realm has a more loose improvisational style to it." That's Justin. All of that, like, we need 4 Jan Michael Vincents to quadrant 9. We need 12 Jan Michael Vincents to quadrant 12. Like, that's all. That's like they just freestyle.
Oh, right. What, in the cable? Or just like, is that why he says it?
Oh, no. For that specific episode, he got really drunk.
And
he's just completely free. And that's why you can hear him laughing. Like, in some of the interdimensional cable sketches, he, like, breaks. But it, like, adds to the weird vibe of the show.
Obviously, yeah.
But I think that sort of weird... Just like really, like the eye hole thing and like just all that weird off-center humor. I think that Justin's bringing that to the table. And then Dan, the other guy, is more like the world building and the actual like story of the Smiths and the like the lore and the universe of it all. And to be honest, that's what kind of makes the show good, is the balance of those two things. Crazy humor, but then it's also like really plot heavy and really good.
Do they have a lot of like voice actors? Or is it just more like just them words?
Justin did a lot of them.
Did he?
Yeah, like Mr. Poopy Butthole, Rick, Morty, Mr. Meese, any character that uses that ridiculously high strained voice like Mr. Poopy Butthole has, that's Justin.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so it's a lot of the cast. And Mr. Poopy Butthole, I mean, this isn't a spoiler because it happens at the end of every season of Rick and Morty. On the last episode, the end credit scene is always a Mr. Poopy Butthole like recap of the season, and his voice was very different in that one. He was the character that I most noticed the voice, but without ruining it, his voice changing kind of fits in with what's going on in that credit.
In that episode.
Yeah, so I noticed that his voice was weird, but it wasn't until I got on Reddit that people were like, what the fuck has happened to his voice? And it's the act thing. But I really didn't think about the voice as much at all. But in terms of Justin...
Did you watch the other episode or just that one?
Then I watched a couple of other episodes because that one was so good. Then I watched 2 or 3 more.
And how
they've all been good.
They've all... I didn't think, obviously, if the world building is still there... And the story's still there...
No, really...
Then the voices are like... It's just a second thing. You know what I mean? Because as long as you've got the universe and the plot and everything else in there, it could be somebody completely fucking different, and I'll be like,
true. That humor hasn't gone away either. There is still like, I still laughed a lot at like some of the things that were going on, and that last episode I was really impressed with. That completely won me back. I was like, this is why I fuck with this show in the first place. It was definitely on that level.
You're like, oh, this has been shit. You know what? I'm in.
I might watch it. You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
I legit might watch that episode again tonight.
Oh, fuck.
Because it was so good. But I think what happened with Justin is, my understanding is, he hadn't really been involved with the show since like season 2, other than doing his voices.
Yeah.
The actual, like, him being involved in the creation of the plot and stuff, I think he was like becoming more and more of like a loner, like a recluse.
Yeah. He's more like, it's a paycheck, I'm going back home.
Well, I think he's got like a drinking problem. He drinks or whatever.
I mean, isn't that like constantly throughout the show?
Well, yeah, that ties into Rick. But
always drinking, always burping. That burp, I was like, that sounds fucking genuine.
He don't burp anymore. That's the thing. Rick
doesn't burp.
Rick doesn't burp anymore. Or like splutter in that way. He doesn't do that anymore. But that, I think, is an indication of how Rick is... You know how Rick's like a dick?
Yeah.
I think that genuinely transfers over to... That is Justin's personality just put into that character.
Yeah.
That seems to be, from what I've read... Dan Harmon did a huge interview recently. He didn't talk about it for like over a year after Justin left. But he's finally done this article, and it's an interesting read. He basically says that like since season 2, Justin wasn't really invested, and he'd turn up, but he'd just be sat in the office playing with like remote controlled cars and shit, whilst they're like writing episodes and stuff like that.
How can you beat? I'll be there, fucking.
You'd be
Give
stoked.
me every character.
Yeah.
I'll be fucking stoked, bro.
Then all these DMs came out, and he'd been messaging fans of the show that were like 14, 15.
Okay, take that back.
What
the fuck? But
yeah.
that's what the allegations were.
Yeah, and it's not on. We're in the realm now where we're dissecting different levels of bad things. Like, I'm not saying that any of these things are good. I'm just saying that what Justin did isn't on the level of like Harvey Weinstein. It's somewhere below there, but it's still improper conduct for the position of power that he was in.
Just don't think messaging anybody underage is like they're both. That's Harvey Weinstein. That's fucking texting somebody under the same fucking age, under the age.
Well, if someone,
regardless.
well, no. Just to play devil's advocate for a second, I can hypothesize that people of that age might DM him like, "I love the show," and if he like likes that message or sends them like "thank you," a thumbs up, I think that's fine.
100%, that's fine. But like,
obviously,
if the allegations are coming out, or like somebody's investigating this shit, then you know it's like he's taking it further than he should have.
So there are screenshots of all these DMs, and I have gone through them, and it's not good stuff. He had a case.
No.
He had a court case against him.
Yeah.
That's all been dropped.
Oh.
Fairly recently, and he's put this statement out that's like, "See, I did nothing wrong. I'm gonna build my name back up now."
Yeah, that's why he did that video, and it was on Instagram.
Where
he did the voice. It's like he was like, "This is me. This is my normal voice," and then as he was talking, I'm just gonna switch over, and he was switching over to Morty's voice, like it was literally nothing, and then he'll be like, he'll go back up, and then this is me coming out of my voice and then into his normal voice. And then he's like, this is me going into... And he would do it. And then he did that video. And then he was like, I know all the allegations have been coming out, but look, they've been dropped. I'm not doing... Like, I wasn't doing anything malicious, blah, 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 whatever he was doing. And now I'm going to try to
restore his name, yeah,
and then like make sure that his name is not fucking underground.
But
at the same time, it's like if they've come out and these messages are like you're saying,
so the DMs are available and they're not good. The fact that the case got dropped, this is just from what I've been reading from people on the Rick and Morty Reddit. Just because the case is dropped, someone who...
Doesn't mean it's not true.
Well, yeah, it just means that there wasn't enough evidence.
Yeah.
So that doesn't, like...
To persecute him.
Yeah, it don't, like, clear his name. And then I did hear a clip from a podcast where he was... as we know, we're in podcasting. You can get into conversations that if you were to take 5 seconds...
Yeah.
it would be terrible. So you have to, like, remember exactly how you're phrasing things. But I've only heard the clip. So I am interested to hear the whole podcast to see how they got to what they're talking about. But he's talking very bluntly about how back in ancient times or like prehistoric times, women would, yeah. I think the exact wordage he uses is they're 13, 14 and they're fully grown and that was that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know we were living back in fucking the 300s, bro.
So that...
Oh, shit. We haven't evolved. You just still want to fuck children. No worries, mate.
So that on its own didn't sound great.
No.
I'm gonna admit that. But then, as I say, I'm gonna need to hear the entirety of that podcast to find out the subtext and behind that.
I would only get it if the previous fucking 10 minutes were they talking about being back in like the 17 to 1600s, and they've asked him a question. What do you think people were doing back then? And he was like, oh, yeah, they were 13, 14, and they were fucking grown.
Yeah.
I would get that. But if it's anything apart from that, you're gone, bro.
For sure.
You're gone.
Yeah, if they've had a long conversation about anthropology and the human race and how we have developed over time, then to me that will at least put that quote in context.
Yeah.
And it doesn't negate any of the other stuff either. But it was a particularly shocking
revelation.
just a little clip to hear. So yeah, he and Dan Harmon, he's like cut up, like he's really upset because they've not like spoke, and they were like really good friends. Apparently, they had like this one conversation that was like ended badly, and then they've not spoke since.
Who's that? Would you know who was like the last person to talk to each other, or have they not talked about it at all?
Dan just in the article just said that the last time he spoke to him was over the phone, and that conversation didn't end well. And then I think he says I think he kind of says like, that's all I'm willing to say about it, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But he phrased it in a way that made it sound like Justin said some like
horrible shit,
rude shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
maybe he needs to stop being a fucking recluse.
But then if you actually look at the storyline of Rick and Morty and who Rick is, and the whole Pickle Rick, like that. Obviously, that episode's been memed to fuck, so the original point has been missed somewhat. But he did that to not go to therapy and address all of his issues. That's why he turns himself into the pickle.
Right, yeah. Right, okay. I thought you were talking about Justin himself.
Well, he has. So that is a metaphor for Justin not wanting to deal with his problems.
Yeah. And I could get that. I thought he literally did that episode. Did that episode so he could like not go into actual therapy. But then,
he probably did that episode.
What you mean by the episode itself.
He probably did the episode to show that.
Yeah.
He probably had not turned himself into a pickle, but came up with some dumb excuse to not go and sort his problems out.
Yeah, deal with it.
So
hopefully now he's got the time to be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Get my shit together now.
I do think that makes it quite an interesting show. As time goes on, you'll be able to look back and see the parallels between Justin and the characters he voiced and stuff like that. I mean, the big question on the table now, because the fans like obviously aren't happy with him, but he's not actually like being pursued legally anymore.
No.
So a lot of fans are like, "Oh, is
going back?"
Yeah, and a lot of them are like,
"It would have to depend on." They would have to speak to each
other. They
other.
just want him for voices.
They just want him for voices.
Yeah, they don't want him to like write or have any impact on the plot of the show. They just want those.
Is that what was said? Is that what
I just saw? No, that's what the fans want.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've seen people on Reddit kind of wanting.
Just for the but even
I don't think that it will go down like that. If he comes back, it will be as an invested member of the team.
Yeah. Because if he's gonna do the same thing as he did since season 2, what's the point of having him back?
Yeah, there's
you know what I mean?
all sorts of like conversations that I imagine would need to happen to.
Loads more.
It's interesting. I'm glad I dipped my toe back into it, and I'm glad that they managed to carry the show on in a good way.
Yeah.
Without him, it actually feels.
Has season 7 been announced at all?
Yeah, it's been announced, but it's not coming out until 2025.
Okay, next year.
Yeah, this last episode only came out, I think, in like December.
Oh, okay, that's not
like
not far away.
November or something like that. Mm-hmm. So there's like a big break now. But it'll be interesting.
But usually it is like that. They
take quite big breaks.
Yeah, they take big breaks.
But they've got like another 50 episodes already like confirmed.
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
I swear, yeah, because they did say that.
They got a 70 episode run just after season 3.
Yeah.
I think.
So they still got 50 episodes to fucking.
They got a lot more to do.
Do you think it's gonna be like, you know, that episode at the end where they're like, it's gonna be you and me, Morty, till fucking 7 seasons.
That's the Szechuan. That's the Szechuan sauce episode, isn't it? Yeah. That is
He's done that twice now. And it's like he's done that, I think, twice on the first episode of a new season.
Yeah, I think when they do it in the Szechuan sauce episode, it's a callback, isn't it?
Yeah.
That first time it happening.
Mhm. But it's good. I like it. I'm glad you said that, because I was really worried about the voices and like it being like, oh, it's too different.
I've
Like,
not
this is
seen
something new.
I've not seen the first 2 or 3 episodes of this new season. The episodes I've seen are at the back of the season. And I did read a few comments that said that it gets better as the season goes on.
Right.
So maybe those first few episodes, it's really noticeable.
Yeah.
But
Right. Okay.
I've had no problems. And that, with like Evangelion, like I'm specific about like, if I fall in love with a voice acting, a voice actor, then I'm going to want them to
do everything.
Yeah. And
yeah. Same with me. Like if you know that I'm an avid watcher of fucking anime, right? So if I see a new season, and even though it's probably because I've been watching it for so long now, even though it's in Japanese, I can tell if the voice actor has changed.
It fucks everything up.
You can, even if it's like maybe just a slightly higher pitch or a slightly lower pitch, you can just notice it if you've watched something for long enough. You know what I mean?
That's just reminded me. I've just finished the new season of Futurama.
The newest.
Yeah.
And they changed the voice actor.
It's really bad. Like, it's really bad.
And changed the voice actor.
Some voice actors have been changed, and some of them have aged. Yeah, and it's bad. Fry don't sound quite right. Leo Wong, Amy's dad. I think the issue was, if I recall correctly, with Amy's dad is that he's a Japanese, Korean, Chinese person. He's an Asian person, and he was played by the guy that plays Fry. So now they've actually got an Asian person playing him. But I'm used to fucking Leo Wong's voice for the past 10 seasons, so you don't sound like Leo Wong anymore. It's a problem.
How many episodes does that have?
It's like 13, 14.
That's crazy, bro.
It was really poor. There wasn't a single episode where I was like, yeah, here we are.
Here we go.
Yeah. There was one that I was nearly there, but then it was the last episode of the season, so I was like, oh, okay, you nearly pulled it out the bag for the last episode. I was so annoyed.
Nearly got you there.
But, I don't know, Billy West, the actor who plays Fry, he's been doing that for years, and he's like one of the best voice actors ever. Like, he voices so much shit. Like, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, you ever seen an advert for M&M's?
Yeah.
He is the M&M's.
Is he?
Have you seen that one where like the green and the red M&M are like
in bed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end he goes, "Now I know what the biting was about."
It wasn't the green and red, actually. It was only the red, and it was 2 normal people in bed, and then one of the people
yellow
turns
one.
around. Yeah. No, it was the red one.
But then the yellow one's there.
The yellow one's there, yeah. And he like,
because he talks like this.
Yeah. And he walks in and he sees something happening, and then he's like, then the 2 people and the red one come up. Sorry, the 2 people come up like, oh, sorry, because they're like eating M&Ms in bed.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, the yellow one come barging in, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? And it's like, but they're so good.
And then the red one's like, now I know what the biting was about. And that's Billy West, Fry.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy to see. I've seen so many of them fucking adverts as well.
I was watching a show the other day, and I was like, that's Leela. I can hear Leela. Oh, it was Recess. You ever watch that?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Which one's Leela?
You know Spinelli? Spinelli's mum is Leela.
See, I've seen the show, but I've not like... You what? You watched the whole of Recess? I'm just...
Maybe.
In my head, I'm like...
Maybe I
how
went
do
back.
You know?
Maybe I went back and watched all of Recess.
What have you been watching?
Recess is sick. I rate Recess. No, I didn't watch all of it. It is a little... I think Recess is really good, but there's definitely parts of it that hit harder when you're like that age.
Yeah.
But the film, you ever see the film?
No.
Oh, the film's great. James Woods from Family Guy.
Oh,
James Woods from Family Guy.
James Woods from.
Well, I said that because I know that that's where you will know James Woods from.
No, I know James Woods. Not like if you would have just said James Woods, that's probably the first thing that would have come to my head from Family Guy.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah, but I think wasn't he like a?
This next thing that instantly jumps to my mind is GTA San Andreas.
That's what James Woods was.
He's in that game. He plays a CIA operative that you work for on the third island. He gets you onto the third island, actually.
It's been that long.
Yeah. And then he also plays Hades in the Hercules Disney film.
Does he?
Yes.
I've never seen that.
I watched that. I watched that film last Sunday, a week ago yesterday, to prepare me for my... I needed the ancient Greek hero story to give me
the boost you needed.
It did exactly what I needed it to do.
Mm-hmm.
Hercules allowed me to get a root canal.
You gotta thanks James Woods in the future. I'm like, you, sir, you got me through it.
I do.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on. Yeah. James Woods.
Why was I talking about James Woods? Oh yeah, Recess. He just plays the bad guy in the Recess movie.
Oh, okay.
And it's like all the animation's so much better than the show.
I know about the film because I think it was after the series, right? To like sort of like end it or be like, oh, they're going on to a bigger school now.
Yeah, so it's called School's Out, and it's like at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing's about James Woods' character wanting to get rid of Recess. Well, he comes from Canada, and in Canada they don't have recess because it's so cold. That's nonsense, but that is the premise of the...
Yeah, obviously that's not...
Yeah. And then it turns out that James Woods' character and Principal Prickly used to be best friends, and they used to work together, and Principal Prickly was a bit of a hippie and wanted to like... This was before he was Principal Prickly like he is, and he actually loved kids back then. Mm-hmm. And this James Woods' character is still trying to get rid of recess even back then. And Principal Prickly's like, nah, the kids, man. The kids need recess. There's this whole weird 60s hippie thing going through that film as well.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But then they did another film that did actually end the whole thing that went straight to DVD called Taking the Fifth Grade, which I did also watch recently. But that wasn't as good.
What?
It ended poorly.
Why is it that ended on is the fifth grade in America? Is that when you move to a new school? I
think it must be the end. Yeah, I think that's where you go to like high school. Then
they could have still carried on, you know.
There's
because there's still a recess in fucking high school.
Well, it's in the talks to be.
Because fifth grade, yeah. You're still going to like school, and then you're going to like 10th grade is like when you're going into just before college.
Well, they always say like the fifth graders, like King Bob.
Yeah.
King Bob's a fifth grader. And then there's that episode, I don't know if you remember it, where like King Bob goes to the bigger school. No. And they pick this boy called Freddie to be the new king. And he's a real dick about it. He like abuses the power of being the king and is like mean to everyone. And then TJ has to go and find King Bob at the new school and be like, yo, you need to come back. Freddie's taking your job. He's being a dick. And King Bob comes back and tells Freddie that part of being a king is to be fair to your people.
Yeah.
I think that is why I like Recess a lot of the time, because it like ends on a good moral.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. There's always like a lesson.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, that taking the fifth grade film, it's like 3 episodes stitched together. So there's like 3 storylines that happen. Mm-hmm. But they all like blend into one another. But the last one is just some like Halloween episode. There's like nothing special about it.
Oh.
But they're talking about rebooting it.
That's what I was thinking, because it's like they could reboot it, make it, better. Just perk up the fucking animation. And then they could have more than like, they could even touch on subjects for that. Like, you know, after the 5th grade.
Well, yeah, because it's all on Disney Plus. I think they should go that direction of doing them teenagers. Did you watch, Rugrats?
Yeah, but I never watched the teenage version. They do go teenage.
All grown up.
And there's one where there's
a Rugrats episode where it's like the pilot for all grown up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like, they're like teenagers.
Yeah.
And then they're like actual adults.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, another thing that could have been done, but
Rugrats has been rebooted.
has it?
Yeah, they've done a whole run of it.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
A whole new animation. I think it's like aimed at kids though. You have a choice when you reboot a show from the 90s. You either make it for a new generation and turn it into a whole new thing to identify with the kids of this generation, or you aim it at like us, the 30-year-olds who want to see the continuation of the old thing.
Yeah. Them turning into fucking adults just like we did.
Yeah.
Like them growing up with us.
Same voice actors, similar animation style. But that must be a tough thing
to do, yeah.
Well, just to choose. You're like, okay, we're rebooting this thing. Do we pander to the old people? Or do we make it for a new generation and piss off the old people because it's not what they knew?
It's not what they... But like, the new generation, not the new generation, but the old generation has to think about, like us, we have to think about, that show came out when we were kids. We're not kids anymore.
Yeah.
The show is pondered or like used so like kids can like see,
learn lessons and stuff like that.
Learn, see how to be nice or whatever. Like you can't then have it rebooted and think, oh well, it has to be the same as I was a kid. So then
there is that is the sort of argument, I guess, between the two schools of thought. There are shows that have been brought back and they literally like years later and they just carry on as was.
Yeah.
Which is it's just a different thing. Like if you're making it for a whole new generation, then you're gonna like rebrand it. You're gonna create a new logo, new voice act. Everything's gonna be new.
Everything's gonna be new. Yeah.
So it's just a completely different thing. Imagine like, I don't know, you think of a TV, not you, but like everyone thinks of like a cast of TV show characters as like a family, but really they're just paid actors. Yeah. So they're not like, you might have a good time on the job, but then they all go off to other jobs.
Yeah.
So then like 25 years down the line to get all those people, the same people back in that room, it's actually way harder.
Way harder.
Because
people like, they literally would have grown up like after 20 years. They're not going to be like, oh, yeah, let me just do this shit once again. Some people
Some do. I was reading about Ash, the person who voiced Ash. I didn't know this.
I was actually about to mention this to you as well.
Interesting. We might have seen the same article. I didn't know that they changed the voice actor for Ash after season 6 of Pokemon.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, the first 6 seasons. So that will be the Ash that I know. Because I only watched possibly seasons 1, 2, 3, 4.
You got to remember that, like, there's 2 voice actors for Ash.
Oh, yeah, Japanese and English. But I'm only watching...
You're talking about the...
No, I'm only watching English Pokemon. But then after season 6, I've no... But then it's interesting because the person who originally voiced Ash only did it for 6 seasons, and the new Ash did it for like 20 years. They went up to like season whatever they just got to
7, I think,
and then they ended.
Yeah,
and
that was crazy.
I've not seen it. I possibly will at some point, but it was interesting hearing this current voice actress talk about how they were so attached to Ash. But it wasn't their original character. No. Someone else voiced it. And apparently that original actor wasn't happy. Like, they really wanted to be Ash.
And why did they stop then?
Exactly what I just kind of said. It's just a job. And she just literally got, like, moved.
No, but, like, after you do it for 6 seasons, they would have been like, why am I moving?
There was a reshuffle with the rights. There was a whole... So this affects Evangelion too. anime that comes from Japan in the 90s, if you wanted to show it on American television, it was handled by this company called 4Kids.
Yeah.
And then 4Kids went bust.
Yeah.
So that's what's fucked. That's why Evangelion has new dubs. Because 4Kids owns the original one.
Right.
But it doesn't exist anymore, so
No.
who owns it? It's all
Exactly,
up in the air. So that's where the rights thing gets complicated. And 4Kids went bust, and then they rejigged all the staff, and they got fired as part of that. Or they didn't get fired, they just got told, like...
Is it... I haven't looked into this, actually, but maybe you would know. Voice actors, when it comes like anime, right? You said they were handled by one company and then they went bust. Is there plethora of fucking different companies now?
Yeah. There will be.
Just because, like, I know I see a lot of, like, when it comes to watching anything that's, like, dubbed, most of it that I see is done by Funimation.
Funimation, yeah. See, this will be another, like, 4Kids situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another sort of place when I see something dubbed. It's called Aniplex.
I've not heard of that one.
But I think they also dub anime and bring it over to the West or whatever. But
you just have to find someone to do it. Like, all the Ghibli stuff gets bought by Disney. And they distribute it.
Yeah.
You just need to find, like, a Western distributor, basically.
Very much, yeah.
And there'll be hundreds of them. It depends. Obviously, Disney, it's a big one. You're going to get a lot of people to see your stuff.
Yeah. With Disney, 100%. Yeah.
So you want to sell, if you've worked on something for ages, you probably want to try and find the best distributor possible.
I'm just glad, right? I wish it was a little bit, maybe like 5-10 years ago, because I feel like they stretched it out just a bit too much. But like the story for Ash, it should have ended like 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it got
easily.
to like a Simpsons level of ridiculousness where like they're just the same age for this whole time and like...
Forever. And it's like, oh my fucking God. But like...
To me, Ash's story ends in Gen 1 and 2. That is the story of Ash. I know that isn't Ash. I know it's not. But the models, whatever, are... I don't know which came first, chicken and egg situation.
Yeah.
But like the person you play as in Pokemon Red and Blue looks like Ash in the original one.
Yeah. But that's because they literally at that point were like, we met a character, which is Ash. We're gonna put him into the game just like we were thinking, done that. Cool. Whatever. That's fine. Then they bring out other games and it's like a completely new fucking character.
But they just carry on with Ash.
They don't. What do you mean?
They have, like...
Oh, like in the seasons,
in the
yeah,
anime,
like,
yeah.
but not in the games.
No,
That's
no.
what I'm saying, yeah. Like in the games, you keep changing characters
But then-
over the years, and you're like...
It's weird how they like hybrid it. So like May is in the anime,
Yeah.
but she's in the games, but
Yeah.
you don't play as Ash in that game.
No. But
So
you can
it's
play as May, but then there's a boy character.
Yeah, but that ain't Ash.
It ain't Ash. And
Yeah.
I'm like, in the anime, there's no other boy character.
Exactly. But that's why...
So where the fuck is these coming from?
I know why that's happening. That's happening because the Pokemon Company want you to identify with your character as you. They don't want you to see it as Ash. They want you to see it as you.
Yeah. But then they wouldn't... Then why the fuck would they make... Then May?
Well, I think, again, it's chicken and egg. I think May must have...
Because you gotta remember, it's not just May, okay?
No, there's loads of... But you've got to view it from the timeline point of view. So, like, the guy in Red and Blue looks like Ash, but I'm certain that that design was hypothesized before the name Ash was.
Okay.
And the character of Ash, because the game...
No, because
the game came before the anime.
the anime came first.
You want to stand on that?
Pretty sure it did.
You won't stand on that, boy?
Maybe I'm wrong.
The game... Pokemon Green is the first Pokemon thing.
Oh no, it's blue.
No. Pokemon Green is the first. Released in Japan,
Isn't it yellow?
Pokemon Blue is a remade version of Pokemon Green for the Western countries. Green.
But then wouldn't it be yellow then? Yellow, the first one.
Green is the first one. You can only buy it in Japan. It's got a Japanese box. Blue, red and green came out. And green is really special because it's even less finished than red and blue are. The sprites are slightly different and less. And then blue...
There's a lot of people that do, when they do first gen fucking speed runs, they prefer green because there's certain animations that don't happen in blue or red.
Yeah.
That skips a lot.
Speeds things up. Yeah. So blue was like the... what's the word? Like the ultimate edition, deluxe edition of red and green. Blue was like the tuned up, fixed, extra features version of it. And they came out... So red and green came out in Japan in January 96. And... Yeah, it definitely came first. The games. And then... Blue... So, it went games, trading cards, anime.
Games, trading card, anime.
Yeah, in that order. Which...
And when did the anime come out?
Anime came out in... The production of it started in August of 1996. And the first episode came out in 1997, April. So a year and a half after Red and Blue. But there was... That year and a half is just Red and Green blowing up, basically. You know, and then they're like, oh yeah, we need to make an anime. But
so wait, when did Green come out? 96?
January 96.
January 96, yeah.
But then that tells me that, yeah, Ash is based on the character from Red and Green.
Yeah.
So then... In Gold and Silver and Crystal, well, in Crystal actually only, you can play as a female. So we know that they've been trying to get a female character. Well, it's a no-brainer. You know, I imagine what must have happened is they released the first gen and saw that it was resonating more with boys.
Right, okay.
Pocket monsters.
Yeah.
It's kind of a more boy vibe.
It definitely was. I played the shit out of it.
So then... I can see them being like, oh shit, we need a girl character. So then female players can identify. So then that gives you the blueprint of why the protagonists of the games aren't Ash, basically.
Because it's boring.
Because they want you to see it as you.
I get that. I get that it's... But you're saying that from what? All the way back then?
That's the
Obviously
original.
not. Because if you look at all the games since then... They've gone in and added fucking May from...
No, but this is what I'm saying. I think May came... May...
But let me finish.
Okay?
May came in Ruby and Sapphire.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that was Diamond and Pearl, which Dawn is in as well. So you play as Dawn, which is one of the characters in the anime as well. The boy, not you, again. Then after that is... what's the fucking name? Black and White. I think it was Black and White after that. And again, they did the same thing, and they do the same things where like the female characters will be played in the anime, and you can see them, and you can play as them. But then the male character then becomes wherever you want it to be, or somebody random.
Yeah, I imagine that comes from a myriad of different reasons. I think May, as an individual case, just May, coming off the back of Gen 2, I think May is them successfully implementing, coming up with a female character that's like fleshed out. And then I think May was invented for Ruby and Sapphire. Then they put her in the anime. Diamond and Pearl, with this Dawn character, I think something happened in between Ruby and Sapphire and Diamond and Pearl that changed. And now they're putting anime characters in the games. But I don't think Ruby and Sapphire, I think May was created for those. I mean, I can fucking
I mean,
probably find out.
you get if the games came out first, bro. You gotta think all the characters are on the anime are based on what the games show. So even you're right, yeah. May will be a character that was made for the anime, regardless, and so will be Dawn and anything else in the future. I'm just saying, like, for those games to then throw out one character that's in an anime, I don't. It's not the fact that like they shouldn't have they should have added Ash. It's more like give people a choice. You don't in a game you can have a choice of both of those characters. Why can't you have a third one? You want to be that. You want to look as Ash because Ash is the one that brought you into this journey. Because for me, that I watched Pokemon before I played the game.
Yeah, but then you've got to accept that
I accept everything. Yeah. Fine. Go on.
the Pokemon company change how they do things as time goes on.
Yeah.
Basically, like they don't just have a blanket way of operating since they've operated.
No,
you know.
I love Nintendo, but I feel like the way that they hold on to all their IPs and not even like work with other consoles to like make their games even fucking better graphically, like story wise, everything. They keep everything to themselves. That's why there's a Switch. That's why there's a Wii. That's why there's like Game Boy fucking Advance and all that shit. Do you know what I mean? Like they make their own sort of style, and then whenever somebody else is like, I enjoy your company's games, everything. I've got more power in this console. Can I make a game? They're like, no, because fuck you. Why would you do that? That's why a lot of the people like nowadays. I don't know if you've heard about Power World. Yeah. So that is like, they're like, it's a everybody's like, it's a reskin of Pokemon.
Well, it's not.
Why? Yeah. Why is that? Why isn't Nintendo saying anything about it? I'm like,
it's very similar.
It's similar, but there's Digimon. There's fucking Beyblade. There's so many fucking shows that are similar to Pokemon that are not Pokemon, and now you're taking it because you use a sphere. They call it the Power Sphere to catch them.
I would say that there's definitely like a breach of intellectual material. There's definitely grounds for like a legal conversation. Yeah,
but they did say that the developers, most of their artwork or most of the monsters are made by AI. So obviously AI has looked at everything that's on the internet.
Yeah, which means that it is factoring everything, but including Pokemon, Digimon, you know, any sort of...
Exactly. So it's like for them to just be like, nah, they're copying Nintendo and that's all they're fucking doing. No, because that's not what... If that was the case, Nintendo would have shut that down.
Yeah.
Not only that...
Nintendo are on that shit.
Yeah. Not only that, Microsoft themselves has now come out and said that they're like... they're backing Power World. Because Power just came out on Steam and Xbox Game Pre-Pass or something like that, and they're now fully backing, adding developers to make the game better because it doesn't construct with any of like Nintendo's copyright because they've been in works with this game for 4 years. To make sure that it doesn't hit any of the fucking Nintendo's legal right team, copyright, none of that shit. Plus, at the same time, it's like somebody made a mod and added Pokemon to it. The company straight away banned that person, He's like, no.
But then all of that, they're like, the fact that they've gone through all that trouble implies their guilt, that they know that it's close to Pokemon. So it's like, oh shit, we better go through, like, we better do...
No, because somebody added a mod.
No, but I'm saying before you said about the mod, you said that they've gone through all the correct legal things to make sure that Pokemon didn't sue them.
No, not just Pokemon didn't sue them, that they weren't mimicking Pokemon. Or, like, they didn't want to like, it obviously looks similar, like you just said.
But that's what I mean, like, the fact that they're even having that conversation shows that Pokemon was being thought about when they, in the sense of like, oh, this is similar.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they were directly, it's like I write stuff sometimes and I'm like, oh, this sounds like
this. Yeah.
This. I didn't mean to do that.
No.
But it does sound like that. And that, I guess that's where the grey area between like copyright and stuff gets interesting.
Yeah. Because it's like, you have to think about that. Because it's...
For sure.
You can make a song completely new song, and you haven't shown anyone, and you've been fucking 3-4 weeks. All of a sudden, there's a famous person that has that song.
That happens.
Do you know what I mean? Like
that,
it happens. It happens. But so like,
I get so annoyed. I like write lyrics down. And then months later, hear them in songs, and I'm like, "Fuck!
Yeah,
I missed it." Like it's so annoying.
So this is why it's like, it's good that they're thinking about that, because they're trying their hardest not to make it a fucking Pokemon remake or whatever. Even if it looks like it, they know that they're gonna get shut down if it has any copyright against Nintendo, because Nintendo is fucking banhammer that shit.
Yeah, they're
done.
Really on top of the copyright thing. I mean, I don't play games, so I'm not really like in the conversation, but
yeah,
I did, and I definitely grew up on Nintendo consoles, and what they do with their mainline games is cool, in the sense that they build the console and they'll have a title. Like, their launch titles are always fucking great. And it's because they build the console and the launch title at the same time. So therefore, you know, like a AAA developer, they have to wait for like PlayStation and Xbox to send them the new version of the Xbox. And then they can be like, oh, we've got our hands on this and we can... But they might have been making the game for like... Normally...
They might be making the game for like 4 years, and then they're like...
Yeah, on an older engine, like on the previous hardware. And then they get given the new hardware and they have to upgrade the game to the new hardware.
And it never really works.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Whereas Nintendo are doing it in-house. And that's why, you're right when you like say that the Nintendo Powerfuls are less the Nintendo... mix that one up. Couldn't do that if I tried. The Nintendo consoles are more less powerful.
Yeah.
But for their games, their Nintendo games, somehow they managed to like squeeze this juice out the console, because the other developers don't know how to do that, because this is their game. So like the mainline Mario games, the Zelda games, they look like really good.
Yeah, the Pokemon games, yeah.
But then like you put Skyrim on a Switch and it's like, yeah. So but that's simply because it's Bethesda, right? Or is it Obsidian?
What? The Skyrim?
Yeah.
Bethesda.
I get them mixed up.
Obsidian is...
New Vegas.
Yeah.
Obviously, if Bethesda made their own console, Skyrim would run like butter on that thing.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
So I do like... And then...
But you got to remember, with people like Bethesda, don't get me wrong, I love Bethesda. I've played pretty much I've got every single game that they've, even like Fallout 1, 2, fucking Fallout Tactics. I've got all of them on my fucking Steam.
I need to play 1 and 2.
Like it's, and I've got all the fucking games, Morrowind, fucking Skyrim, Oblivion, all of that. I've got all of their shit. Okay, I love Bethesda and the world building that they fucking create, because it's incredible. But at the same time, they've got PCs that run this shit, right? and like you can set up a PC
To run at ultra.
to run at the same level as a console.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they take years. The last time they've done an Elder Scrolls game was almost 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's like the shelf life of a franchise now is like that. Like GTA 5.
Like
it's crazy.
It's but back in before Skyrim, the one that came
Morrowind.
the one that came before Oblivion.
Mm-hmm. That's Morrowind.
No, there was it Morrowind?
I believe so.
Anyway, Morrowind,
Mm-hmm.
going from Morrowind to Oblivion, right? That only takes like 7 years.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? They just milking the fuck out of like
I think it's
Skyrim.
well.
You
I
know
think
what I mean?
it's complicated. It's to do with the life of a console these days, like the generation of you. You're right in that, like the gap between
They're just getting bigger and bigger, bro.
PS1 and the PS2 was shorter, and then they get bigger and bigger. But there's like so much that plays into that. It's like the advancement of
Technology.
processors, storage.
Yeah.
There's like a lot.
But you do know that you can add a PC build to a fucking Xbox.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. But then
I think it's more the fact of like, it's whether people can afford it. Because if Microsoft just came out with an Xbox that was like fucking $2,000 because it's got the highest fucking spec and everything on there, you're like, okay, I can't fucking afford $2,000 to get a fucking console. Nobody's gonna be buying that.
you have to ask yourself why
is it so expensive?
or why doesn't everyone just have a fucking top range PC? That's the question that all the PC users constantly ask. Why doesn't everyone just have a fucking PC? Well, the answer there has nothing to do with the power of the PC or like how well it can run the game. It has something to do with the user interface of a PC and what that means. A console is designed as a family entertainment system. It sits.
That's what the Xbox is.
The difference between a PC, like the Xbox, can sit like that. You see, the Mega Drive's just sat below the TV. You press on, the game's there. That's what families want. Obviously, that's not what gamers want.
No.
Gamers love the option to constantly upgrade their tower, and they love cooling systems and neon lights and monitors. I'm with you. I know what's popping.
Okay.
But that ain't what, like, someone in their, like, 40s that has a couple of kids. So that's where, like, the Wii all of a sudden becomes a great console. It's not a PC, and it's very underpowered. It's like 560 fucking P. It's not even HD.
Yeah.
But you can give two kids a fucking two Wii remotes, and they'll play tennis for like hours. So it's all about if you are Nintendo, it's going to be quite complicated working out like, or if you're just any video games company, it's like, where am I aiming this? I'm going to aim it at the. I nearly used a derogatory word then. I nearly called everyone nerds. do we aim this at the nerds or like the people that are really into it? Or do we aim it at the general audience? And there's different way ups there from a company. The company will be like, well, if we aim it at the general audience, we're probably going to make more money because more people are going to buy. But if we aim it at the diehards, they'll spend more individually because they're into it more. So you have to like weigh that up.
Because that's why they always bring out fucking two of them. One of them is fucking, this is high spec, fucking high resolution, 120 FPS and all that shit. You're like, okay. So what's the other one? Oh, that's just if you want to fuck around.
Yeah, so they're
okay.
They're catering to two
separate
audiences, which must be difficult.
Yeah, but as a company that has as much money as Microsoft, Nintendo, or fucking PlayStation, you have whole buildings of teams marketing that shit.
Which is bonkers.
Buildings,
that's
not
probably,
like one.
Yeah,
buildings.
yeah. No, that's probably overkill.
Yeah, that's what I
Like,
mean.
yeah.
And it's like, that's probably why we're at a stage where like nobody's like really happy because everyone's got a different opinion and they're adding everything that every single opinion to that, and you're like, no, just come on.
Have you
sort that shit out?
Have you seen any videos of the new Apple Vision Pro? It's their helmet. Their
visor.
Yeah, they don't want to call it a VR helmet. But a load of, like the YouTubers that do tech reviews, they've all been sent them this week. So like there's a load of YouTube reviews that have just come out of people using them. And it's really fucking interesting because
I've seen a couple people, like, they're just walking around, they're like...
So it's not a VR helmet in the sense that, like, when you put the VR helmet on, you're in a different world. This thing lets you see through it.
But there's like...
And it's not actually the tech that it's doing. It's not a camera. You're not, like, just looking through a lens. The helmet is rebuilding the world in real time. It has all these sensors on it, and it knows where everything is in the room, and then it builds it. So you're looking at like a 3D render of the real world through a helmet that is incredibly close to reality. And then around you, you basically just have your phone. So like the iOS of your phone and all the apps, you have access to that in real world. So we could be doing this podcast right now and you could be talking to me and we could be having a proper conversation, but you could have your Vision Pro on and have Apple TV playing some anime on the wall.
And you can't even hear it.
I can't even see it or hear it.
Yeah.
And we could just continue to interface, or like someone,
That's pretty sick, to be honest.
You just got a phone call.
Yeah.
You could have been like, 2 seconds. Hey, Mum. And like all of a sudden, like your mother is like
right there.
Fucking there.
Yeah.
I saw this dude.
Watching, you're like, yo, what's going on?
And then you just be like, okay, see you in a bit.
Yeah.
Hello.
We're back.
And you're back. I saw a guy.
This is the fucking future.
Well, this is what. Yeah,
that's what I want.
That's
bro.
why it's like exciting because it's not there yet.
I thought that wasn't real. I thought that was just somebody. Because I saw it on YouTube, and I saw 5 different people walking around with this fucking shit in America, and I was like, this must be just some sort of trend. But now that you mention it, I'm like, oh, shit.
Well, you're going to see a lot more of it now because people have been sent them. I saw a guy sat in Times Square in New York on a bench, and he had he was like screen recording what he was doing, and he was just sat. There was people all around him, like moving everywhere, and he had a huge Apple TV screen watching a Mr. Beast video, and then he was just like typing, like messaging a friend
in midair, right?
In midair, and you can apparently when you tap, you can feel it. Yeah, and then when you're done, when you stand up, all the windows just disappear, and you can just go on with your day.
No way!
So
this is the shit I'm getting. I need to get
the
one.
takeaway from that guy's review. He wanted to do a slightly different review. I need to find this guy's name. His first name is Casey, but he's got a last name that I have forgotten and cannot pronounce. He's very famous.
That's fucking hilarious.
Casey Neistat.
Neistat.
Yeah, go watch his Apple Vision review. Because he says that he's seen a couple of other reviews, and it's just like a guy at a table unboxing it and like giving it a normal
look around
sort of tech review. Whereas he was like, I want to see how this thing's actually going to change life for us. And I saw a meme today that I thought, do you remember when iPhones came out? The first thing everyone was doing with them before there was like loads of like good apps, we were just doing things like drinking beer.
Yeah.
And it was like useless shit that like
just some shit.
Yeah,
I was like,
the novelty of it. We're in that era of the Vision Pro.
Yeah.
And he says what he had to say at the end of his review, I thought,
oh my God,
was like, it blew my mind because he said, this isn't just the future of Apple products.
It's the future of everything.
This is the future of computing. All computing. Once Once they manage to make the headset lighter and not
as big.
Yeah, not as big. When you wake up in the morning, it won't be your phone that you grab anymore. You'll just put your shades on and go about your day, and it'll all just be around you all the time.
All the time, yeah.
And he also said it was crazy how after a couple of hours of walking around New York, his brain just completely forgot he was wearing the helmet. So it just becomes life.
Yeah, it just becomes life.
And that is the huge change that this is going to bring in. It looks dumb.
I can't wait.
I'm really excited. I'm pissed it has a cable right now. I'm not buying one that has a cable. I'm waiting until...
Give it 10 years.
Because it looks like some...
Give it 10 years. They'll, it won't even be a cable. It'll be a fucking bit on your fucking side of your face. You put on there and just fucking...
Well, the cable at the moment is for the battery pack.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You can't charge it and then take it out without a battery pack. It has to be connected to the battery pack to turn on right now.
Okay, yeah.
And I think that's a little lame. You kind of look like you've just come out of Vault in Fallout. Headset and like a cable coming off you and a hazmat suit or some shit. So once they make it lighter and they just work all the kinks out of it all, it's going to be fucking because it's like $5,000 right now.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It's the same as like the fucking... When the watches first started coming out, it was so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
So, like, now they're like, oh, yeah, you can get this version, and it'll be like fucking 200 quid. Still quite expensive, but it's not 2K.
It's always been like the Apple way.
Yeah,
like,
it's the Apple way, yeah.
Stuff comes out and it's crazy.
You remind me of, again... Well, I was going to bring anime because it's the thing that I watch the most.
Very on brand.
I've been recently watching this new anime called Shangri-La Frontier, right? And this is why I'm excited about this and I'm so fucking ready. The anime is about a boy who only plays trash games. When I mean trash games, is games that are on VR, but the VR headsets that they have in this anime put you in the world. And like you're sitting down, or laying down on your bed, you put these headset on, and your mind goes into the fucking world of this game, right? All he plays is games that are buggy as fuck, hard as fuck to finish because there's so many bugs. Just unfinished games. And he loves playing those games. And he's built such a resistance to like shit games and like it being like, oh, I'm gonna walk around this corner, lag, and fucking die. Like he's been so focused on that when he plays this new game called Shangri-La Frontier, where it's a God tier game, no bugs, great fucking story. He decides to like give it a go. The reason I mention it is just because that's the time I want to be in. I want to be sat. I want to be sat in a room. My mind's gone. Anything around me is just fucking whatever.
Have you seen the new VR thing that Disney have done? It's a pad on the floor. So it's like this pad. It's like a circle. It's quite big. And it's made of this material. I don't know how they're doing. I don't know how this... It's like true Disney style. It's like magic. And this guy just steps onto it. And the minute that he steps onto it, he can walk in place and he don't go anywhere. The floor moves underneath him. And he just stays in one place. And then the screen, he's surrounded 360 by a screen. And once you step on the pad, you are then in this world. And you can run and walk and fully be in a virtual world using this new technology. And
how the fuck did they do that?
Yeah, they're going to start using it on all the Disney parks for rides and to make new amazing things.
Visual rides.
Yeah, visuals to look at and stuff.
Sick. I still need to go to fucking Disneyland.
We'll go there for sure, bro. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy.
Well, I got a friend who works at the head office for Disney
In
Florida.
oh, see, that's the good one. I thought you were gonna
Yeah.
say Paris, and I was like, nah, dip that.
No. Like it's
I've been to the Florida one.
there's two in America.
Yeah, there's one in California, one in Florida.
Yeah,
California's the original one.
Yeah, the one in Florida, I think, is the one that you can drink.
That's the one I've been to. I was 7, so
the one you can-
wasn't doing too much drinking.
No. But like, there's an adult one, and then there's like
Yeah,
a proper
for sure.
kids one.
I think you'd fuck with Disney. You know, Alton Towers. I loved it. I went for the first time last year.
First time.
Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever been. That's why I was so fucking scared. Like, when I first saw the Smiler, I was like, oh, okay. This
Jesus.
place, we're not fucking
I
around.
swear you were with us. Last
No.
time I've been with.
Yeah, I know.
With Jack like 3 or 4 times. And I'm
Never
like,
been.
I'm sure you've been in there twice
Never,
at least.
ever been.
Wow.
Up until last year. And I had a good time. But the thing that I kind of noticed when I was there is that there's no theming.
There's no theme,
Well, there's
no.
no overall,
No.
other than you are at Alton Towers.
Yeah.
And then each ride, the overall moral of it was, we're going to fuck you up. I was like, this is evil. There's some sadistic shit going on here.
That's what people love, mate. They're thrill.
Yeah, but then at Disney, the whole place is themed. To the point where, like, if you walk down Bakery Street, they're pumping out of the lampposts the smell of freshly baked bread. As you walk up to Disney in California, it's a very slow hill, but you don't even notice you're walking uphill because it's quite a walk from the car park to the park. And by the time that you've walked from the car park to the park, you are 1 story up. You have climbed 1 story. So the whole park is built on an on 1 story up.
Yeah.
And then ground floor is a system of tunnels called the utilidors. And they were built because Walt Disney was walking around the park one day and he saw a spaceman in Cowboy Land. And he, in his head, was like, well, if a kid sees a spaceman in Cowboy Land, that's going to ruin the whole fucking thing. We need a way for the spaceman to be able to get back to Spaceland without walking through Cowboy Land, because that's going to fuck up the immersion of it all.
Right, yeah.
So the tunnels are like, they call it backstage, or the utilidors.
So they don't get used by the general public. Only.
You can go on a tour. For years, when I first found out about this back in the early 2000s, it was like an urban legend. The secret tunnels of Disney. And it was like, do they even exist?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But now Disney, I assuming, kind of picked up that it was becoming a bit of an urban legend. And you can buy this thing called the Keys to the Castle tour, which I think is a lot of money. But it's like a huge VIP tour, and you get to tour. Part of that is touring the utilidors.
That's good.
That'd be a dream.
I'm telling you.
I would love to be in the utilidors.
I'm telling you, we're getting that shit. Because she was telling me, she was like, yeah, come. As long as you're coming down, I got you sorted. And I was like, don't fucking tell me that, because I'm gumming.
But when you go on a ride at Disney, even if it's like their biggest roller coaster, like Space Mountain, when you're in the queue, it's not like people fucking torturing you and being like, you're about to fucking die. Like, it is
Like
at Alton
the
Towers.
scare maze.
Or the scare maze at
Yeah.
Twin Lakes. It's more, you're going on an adventure sort
I
of
like
thing.
that. I like that. The adventure type. Yeah, I fucking love that. Being like, oh, let's go find the fucking hidden treasure at the end of the fucking rainbow.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yes.
That's what I love about
Hit me.
Disney, is that all of it.
Rides don't offend me. I like having I like the thrill of like being it's just the people around you when it comes to like Alton Towers. They just all feel like they just don't want to be there.
Yeah.
I'm guessing like at Disney, they're like, obviously most characters are gonna be like Disney characters. So they're gonna be like, happy and all this shit. Never been, but that's what I'm thinking.
It's hard in Britain because, and in this day and age, I'm very much a product of Disney, 90s Disney.
Yeah.
And they try and take it away from me, these cynical young people, but I still have a bit of magic in my soul and a bit of when you wish upon a star. And I believe in the Disney vision.
Always.
And so I've always
magic is real, bro. Magic is real.
Well, yeah. I mean,
We just don't see it, but it's real.
and I think Disney is as close as you can sort of get to that, like, fabricated, constructed magic.
Science is magic, basically, but like in its own sense.
Oh.
People have to make sense of it, and that's what scientists are. If you went back a fucking, 500 years ago, showed them somebody a fucking iPhone, they'll be like, magic.
What else do you know that, like, a heart? Like, I can't believe that my heart keeps beating. There's nothing else. Like, if my phone battery dies after 7 or 8 hours, everything stops. Obviously, my heart's going to stop one day, but it's a source of anxiety for me. I have numerous moments, like, I'll be lying in bed and I'll be like,
why my heart stops?
oh, I'm like, oh my God, I'm alive. And I'm like, what about now?
Shut the fuck up.
What about now?
Stop. That's the dumbest shit to think about, just because it's like, you will not know that till the end.
Yeah, but it's crazy.
Thinking about it now is gonna fucking kill you. It's gonna kill you.
There's blood flowing through my vein. There's all these fluids. I've never seen them. I've never seen my heart. But
You don't want to.
It keeps going. It's bonkers.
You don't want to see it.
It keeps me running.
You can see it through fucking, what's the name?
An X-ray or something.
An X-ray, yeah.
I don't need any. What's the line?
Visual fucking.
No, there's an Easy Life lyric. I don't need to know what's real or not anymore.
I just need to go through the journey.
I thought you were about to say that you need to go to the bathroom.
No.
you look really like, I just need to go to the bathroom.
No. To be honest, it is, yeah. It's like, I'm bothered whether it's real or not to a certain extent, obviously. I don't want to know if it's real food or not real food. I want it to be real food.
There's no doubt in my mind there's something exterior going on here. Something's going on.
Something exterior from life is going on.
I don't like to define it. I think that's as close as I'm going to get to be able to quantify it.
What?
Something's going on. Some people believe that nothing's going on, and we're just modified apes on a rock, and it's blackness.
Modified apes on a rock. What?
And then it's black.
That's a new one.
And then it's just black when you die. And I think you have to prove that to me as much as I have to prove to you that there's something else, because you don't know, not you, but like any naysayer that's like, no, there's no greater power, there's no divine meaning in anything, and I'm like, okay, prove.
But I choose to believe that there's reincarnation. You know what I mean? I choose to believe that. But that doesn't mean that I want everyone else to believe the same thing as me.
No.
I don't give a shit. You believe whatever you want.
I don't give a fuck about believe. I want to know.
Yeah. No, but we can't. That's what I'm saying. We can't know.
But I think, we've had this conversation many times, but
unless you die.
I have a hypothesis. We've been here for a minute, us humans. We've been knocking around for a minute. And I really can't fathom that in the entirety of the time that we have been intelligently communicating with one another, that someone, somewhere, hasn't worked out more than I currently know and the general population's average level of understanding of what they're doing here. I really do believe that there are multiple parties throughout history that know a little bit more about.
Yeah, but that's, as I just said, that's what I believe. That's what you believe.
I don't believe that. I don't know that.
You just said that.
I don't
if you go back in the recording, you're like, I believe.
Let me
I believe.
Let me redo that statement. That's fine. I have no problems changing one's words on things.
Okay, go on.
I don't know anything other than I am.
Okay. Right.
I have a hypothesis that there are groups of individuals that know on a factual basis, objective, no culture, no lens put over it. Like the actual, what the fuck are we doing here? I can't fathom that I'm the only one that really wants to know that information. I don't want it my way. I don't want it my version of what is. I want to know what is.
No, I get that. And that's what everyone else in this world is trying to fucking figure out. But you want to know, but you don't know.
I don't.
You don't know.
No, I don't know.
Neither do I.
No.
But I believe that there is reincarnation.
Yeah.
Just like you think
I don't know.
you know.
I have a hypothesis.
A hypothesis, but that's just another fancy way of saying thinking you may know.
No.
Or this may be real.
No. That a hypothesis is it's like if I wrote that down on a piece of paper, that is what it is. I don't know that. I don't even think that. Or it's something I'd like to test it. It's like a science experiment, you know, like you can have an idea of an outcome, but I don't see there's much fruit. I try and stay away as far as possible as trying to want a personal outcome, because then that will be tainted by my ego and my experiences. So that's why I really try and stay away from any sort of personal belief. And I literally just want to know what is going on and try and not run it through any sort of personal, version, because then that will take away from what is actually going on.
Well, you don't have to put it through that when somebody's telling you the truth. Like, if I were to tell you, if you had a belief that every cake in the world is evil, okay?
Well,
every single cake.
I have so many problems with that, but yeah.
What? Why?
Cakes can't be evil.
I know. But that's why I'm just like, oh, you have a hypothesis.
What would make a cake evil?
Sugar.
What?
It kills you.
So therefore
Gives you
all cakes
cancer.
are evil.
Yeah. Right.
That's not a hypothesis. That's a proven theory at this point.
No. But that's perspective. Because you can think that sugar's... I could think that sugar's evil, but you may think that sugar's just... Oh, it's nice and sweet.
Well, it depends what...
That's depending on the person. Okay?
No.
That's why you just said you don't put any fucking personal beliefs into it because you don't want to taint that information.
The question that your point hinges on is death a bad thing?
No.
Because if sugar kills you and you see death as a bad thing, then that would make sugar evil. But if you want to die, then sugar's your friend then.
Yeah.
And cakes are good.
Right. Okay. The cake. Oh, this conversation about cake is not what we're talking about, or what I wasn't trying to get into. I'm just saying, if you had a theory, a hypothesis that all cake was, this is hypothetical, okay? That all cake, you thought that all cake was evil, right? And I came in and I said to you, no, not all cake is evil. It's proven that it's not evil. Because I can show you this, and this, and this. That doesn't still mean if you then see that information and you're like, oh, okay, this is how it is. This is why it's not evil. That's not you putting your personal belief into that. That's you finding out the truth. And then if you then go, no, I know what I believe is true. That's then you putting into it. If you believe that there's something else happening, right? That's what you believe. And that's fine. That doesn't mean that if somebody tells you what's actually happening, you're going to be like, well, I don't believe that, so I don't care.
No, I don't.
You're not going to be like that. And that's not you putting your personal belief into it. That's just you being a common person and listening to somebody's truth. And if that truth comes out to be fact and everybody else says the same thing, you're like, oh, okay, I understand now. So you believing in something doesn't make it that you're gonna, when you find out the truth, you're gonna be like, I fucking hate this. I didn't believe this. Why am I fucking listening to this shit? Obviously, this is all hypothetical. I'm just trying to get you out of the thinking like, you're going to have a belief and all of a sudden that's going to be fact. No one's belief that if somebody believes in Jesus, that doesn't mean that like it's true.
So Albert Einstein hypothesized that there was. What are you on about? Like, what are you on about? You can hypothesize things and they become fact. That happens all the time.
Yeah, no, that's fine. What I'm saying is, you're hypothesizing this because you don't want to put your own beliefs when you find out the truth.
If I see something,
the truth itself shouldn't matter in your belief because it's fact.
I have no time to spend believing in things. If something appears in front of me, then that is something.
Yeah.
And I want to get as close as I can to the truth of that phenomena. Other than that, I don't want to call it a funny name. I don't want to dress it up in any sort of cultural garb. I simply want to know what the fuck was going on.
But that is your belief. That's what you want. That's what you want.
It's a strip.
It's
a stripped back. It's a strip back and as general as I can make it, so I can identify with as many people as I can, so we can all see a common understanding.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. But like you're putting it into like, oh well, I can't have a belief. Oh, I can't think of anything because it will taint the truth. That doesn't matter.
No, I've made a choice just not to use like belief. Like I don't see much.
That's a word, though. You could use a different word.
Well, it's a word that points.
Hypothesis is not the correct word.
There's a difference between hypothesis and belief.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why that word belief. Yeah, you can change it, but hypothesis is completely different than belief. So it's. If you want to put a different word in front of belief, fine, whatever. Do that, but it won't be a hypothesis because that's you wanting to know the truth isn't a hypothesis. Is you wanting to know that.
My hypothesis is that something is going on.
Oh, okay.
And I've constructed that sentence over 5 or 6 years as sort of like maths. Because, you can say like, oh, I believe in Jesus. And people will be like, well, I don't believe in Jesus. And it's like, fuck. Then you can be like, oh, well, I believe in Buddha. And people are like, well, I don't believe in Buddha. So
but you could say, I believe there's something going on. That's fine. Oh, okay. Regardless of if you say that or not, people are going to be like, oh, I don't believe that's true.
I don't believe what's true.
If your hypothesis. If you went, I have a hypothesis. And you're like, nah, that hypothesis is wrong. They could still be doing that. Regardless.
Yeah, but then I'm going to treat you like someone that if I say that's a cup and you just tell me that isn't a cup just on the fact that you just want to say the opposite of what I'm saying, then I'll be like, well, you're a moron.
Yeah, I know. Like, but that's what you're trying to explain now. Like, oh, if somebody believes in this or they don't believe in this, if you just want to say the opposite of it, there's going to be the opposite of everything you say.
So
regardless. Because there's going to be somebody out there that's going to be like, I don't want that person to be right. So I'm going to say what I say.
So that
is shit.
That attitude,
I hate
I would call it a mental health condition.
And it should be.
And I'm not going to concern myself with people that choose to spend time in that headspace.
Yeah, 100%.
We're not going to get
nowhere
to the root of anything. It's like this is quite a nice bow tie on the whole thing, but it becomes as simple as, well, I believe there's something. Well, I believe there's nothing, but nothing, because we talk about it,
can't be nothing. you know that. You know it can't be nothing.
Wow. I feel like that's great. That's a great cycle. We should definitely wrap this up. We've been going now for like an hour and a half or so. And there's only so much of this
that we can talk about
that people can tolerate.
Listen, that's true. We can
keep going. Oh yeah, we can keep going for sure. It's people's attention span and capacity that is the problem. We have more to give.
Yeah, that's right. We got more. I still got more questions, but I'll keep it for next time.
You guys know that once this microphone's turned off, these conversations are carrying on.
Yeah.
You're just lucky enough to be here with us now while the microphones are turned on.
We should bring in some like. I like a lot of the stuff that I see on like YouTube. Like, we could. I say review, but like it's not really review. Just you know what we were like doing earlier on in the podcast? We were doing stuff like about Reddit news and stuff.
Well, yeah, okay.
We should bring in a section.
We shouldn't even fuck a section. Literally, Martin.
Not a section, but just I mean like
I literally I go on the way here, and when I woke up this morning, I was like, I'm just going to think of some like general bullet points. Like, what have I been doing recently? And like, have I seen anything funny? And if each of us bring 4-5 things, either personal experiences that we've been doing, funny stories, shit you've seen on the internet, something you want to talk about, we bring 4 or 5 of them each.
That's an hour.
That's an hour. Simple.
True.
I definitely, yeah, I mean, so we're, over the past few weeks, months or so, a lot has happened with me and Martin and what we're doing. The whole studio space has changed, and I now have this whole place to myself. So this is why you've got the new setup and the with the lights and the new studio. So we're all set up here, and this is going to be the setup now with the new intro that you'll see on this episode and whatnot. This is going to be the format of the show from now on. You guys listening on Apple Music and Spotify, you get the first hour, and then if you come over to the Patreon, you'll get the whole episode extended with a musical track and anything extra that we're doing for that episode. You'll
Correct.
Yeah, you'll see in the Patreon. So get over there if you're interested in what we're doing, because we have a lot more to do over this year on our schedule. There's music, there's going to be gigs, there's going to be podcasts, and all of that is for sure. And then beyond that, there's going to be many more creative endeavors that I have that I want to bring into fruition. I'm also, if you in Leicester now, managing Coburn Espresso Bar at the bottom of New Walk. So if you actually want to come get face to face with me and have a chat, and like if you want to come on the podcast or whatever, you want a conversation, like come and find me at Coburn. I'm there Tuesday through Saturday, or
goddamn straight.
Reach out on social media. Like if you want to speak, you want to get involved, like me and Martin are here, like
always
to talk. And
always,
you come here, you're gonna get a nice warm beverage. You're gonna get something to suckle on. We're gonna make you.
We're going to make you laugh somehow.
There's hospitality in abundance here. So yeah, just like come with us on a journey. We're locked in now. This is the podcast format. We're going to be here. We're going to be dropping really...
Look at the people. Why are you looking over there?
We're going to be... I don't even think about the camera. The camera's so like... I think about the people listening. I'm in someone's ear right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you're down to come on a journey with us, we're about to take you to some interesting places. So
it's gonna be out of this fucking world, and don't you forget it.
But yeah, this has been episode 56 of It's Not That Deep, bro.
56 bitches.
Good
Peace the fuck out.
Gotta crawl through. such a shame.